You might ask yourself, what do these three people have in common? They are all familiar with Leon Seals, Mr. Timeout, and serve in some capacity of the law. Mike magazine was denied an opportunity to cover Mr. Leon Seals' case. However, we had an opportunity to sit through the proceeding, and Leon Seals' attorney did not disappoint. Kind of reminds me of Columbo.
One more thing before I forget. One thing I almost forgot. Listen, one more thing. It'll just take a second. Oh, listen, just one more thing. Listen, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm sorry to bother you, ma'am. I just wanted to ask you one more quick. Sir. Listen, a couple of things came up that I want to discuss with you, but I don't want to burden you now because I can see you got a lot on your mind.
How do you feel about the judge not allowing the media to come in and record on video the proceedings for just your client only?
Well, I was disappointed in that, but she made a ruling based on the law and on what she perceives to be the law anyway.
You did mention that there is case law.
Well, there's case law that says when you don't have a certified court reporter for a court proceeding, then you are allowed to electronically record it. And I would think that a video is an electronic recording.
Absolutely.
So that was my argument.
Yes, sir.
And I was disappointed because I think this hearing is going to be a very important one.
Yes, it is.
For the following hearings. So we got an opportunity to hem up these officers because some of these officers are going to be the same officers on the other 10 or 12 charges they've got against Mr. Seals.
One of the officers spoken of is on the far right on the screen. Lieutenant Richard Lentz, who did decline to make a comment, was warned in court by Attorney Rayner that if he perjured himself, he would make certain that he's indicted. When it was time for Lentz's video to be played, the judge said she didn't see a reason for everyone to hold hands and watch the video together when she could watch it by herself. After which, Lieutenant Lentz stated that he couldn't recall a lot of things when cross-examined by the defense.
Out here at the Rankin County Courthouse, you just heard from Mr. Leon Seals' attorney. He told you the importance of having a reporter in there to record electronically. And nobody is in there to record electronically from the media.
In just a second, you're going to see body cam footage that was leaked to the media. Rankin County is not the only county going through something, but since we're here, let's take a listen.
In 2019, my son was found deceased on the annex of Hawkinsville in Jackson. He come up missing from my house in Rankin County on August the 17th of 2019. His body was found on August the 19th of 2019.
Tell us a little bit about your position at the Rankin County Jail.
I started out being a jailer there. I moved up to booking officer, then I was acting sergeant.
Okay. Now,
2004 to 2009.
Now, how long has your son been deceased?
Since 2019.
Now, you say you have been ringing the alarm, but no one was listening. Do you think it was because your son was white?
There are so many allegations floating around Rankin County and the Goon Squad. We're going to get to that in just a second, but let's hear from the parents of one of the Goon Squads who's been sentenced.
Dad, I know you apologized. Did you mean it from the bottom of your heart? Absolutely. I understand this won't be the end of it. Do you think someone is going to come out against Brian Bailey? Because they've painted a picture of a culture of the place. Right. Do you think he's going to go scot-free and your son is locked up? Thank you, Mo. Thank you, sir. And thank you for that apology, Dad.
Hinds County prosecutor has been in the news on allegations, and now Rankin County prosecutor Trey Spillman is in the hot seat. Fowler is claiming that Spillman used a political hyperbole to manipulate and force a no contact between the two gentlemen. Fowler says he was ultimately charged with threatening a civil servant. Now, Fowler never makes the claim that he's squeaky clean. He does have a background conviction, just as our beloved President-elect Donald J. Trump. What did Fowler actually say? In his own words, if Mike Tyson will take one ear, I'm going to take two. In the courtroom, because I have him withholding paperwork, lying, and acting in such bad faith. He goes on to say that Judge Adams 2 weeks later asked to be added to the no contact. As it relates to the Leon Seals case, Trey Spillman was the one who objected to the media covering the story electronically. He is also the same person who turned to accuse the Mike magazine and the wife of Leon Seals of coaching Leon Seals into what to say during a courtroom proceeding to Judge Adams, which we both found offensive and an outright lie. We still don't know why he would stop his own court proceeding to make such unethical accusations. Now we're going to hear a little bit more from Nancy Boykins as she explains to us how she was able to identify her son's body.
What it is that you believe is going to happen as it relates to the light being shed, more light, even though your son was white.
My son was
I noticed.
Singled out because of his friends.
Okay.
Because I didn't teach my son to see colors.
What type of friends did your son have?
My son had friends of all colors. And that's the main reason why he was being targeted.
Tell us a description of what. Tell us a description of what the autopsy said about your son.
It said my son died from a gunshot wound through his femoral artery in his leg. I haven't had an autopsy report, just I've spoke with the lady.
So were you able to see him?
Yes, I did.
Tell us what you saw.
On August the 19th of 2019, when the John Doe that the Jackson Police Department had was identified as my son, I went to Jackson Mortuary because I wanted to make sure it was him. Right across his eyebrows.
How were you able to identify him?
From his shoulders.
Wow.
His shoulders and his ears. Across his face right here and up, his ears and all were laying on the table behind him. There was nothing on his face other than the ligaments that held his jawbone on. The skin from his face was just black, blackish blue.
It's like you're reliving it all over.
The rest of his body was just a pale blue.
My goodness.
He had no eyes, no nose, no teeth.
He didn't just die.
No. He was beat severely before he was shot.
And this is what the world is coming to know as allegedly the Goon Squad.
We have evidence that proves that an officer with the Rankin County Sheriff's Department was involved in my son's homicide.
Any of these officers who are
Yes.
being held now,
Yes.
did they have anything to do with what happened to your son allegedly?
According to the evidence, Brett McAlpin did.
His name keeps coming up over and over again. And people are saying, I heard the father say in court today that he was a bad influence on his son.
I do believe that. I do believe that Brett is the ringleader under command of the sheriff.
What do you want from this?
I can't get my son back. I don't want anybody else to go through what my son went through. And if Brian would have listened to me, Damian Cameron would still be alive. And Eddie Terrell Parker and Mr. Michael Corey Jenkins would never have been shot.
Oh, wow. So someone dropped the ball, you think?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Understand that your story is getting out there, even though, it's been lost in the scheme of things, seemingly.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to hear from you in the coming months.
Yes.
And the story about your son and the things that you are alleging that happened
Yes.
to him based on the evidence you say you saw. And again, your name?
Nancy Boykin.
Nancy Boykin, thank you so much.
This concludes part 1 of the investigative report. Angela Buckner here, the voice behind the mic.